So let's talk about what you might be able to do. Let's look at this scenario in the Bible in Matthew. Matthew 25, 14 through 30. It talks about, they call it the parable. Well, people call it different things. People might call it the parable of talents. My Bible calls it the parable of the bags of gold, because a talent is apparently a bag of money. Okay? So this is a story about a man, a master, who left on a long journey. And when he left, he gave his servants control of some money. He gave one servant 5 bags of gold. He gave another servant 2 bags of gold. Then he gave a third servant 1 bag of gold. So after he left, one servant who had the 5 bags of gold, it says that he put them to work. He put that 5 bags of gold to work, okay, and made 5 more. The guy that had 2 bags of gold, he did the same thing. He put those 2 bags of gold to work, and he made 2 more. The third guy, he said, you know what? I'm not taking no chances. I'm going to bury this money, because when my master comes back, he is not going off on me because I lost his money, okay? This was actually a thing back then. People could go, if someone gave you amount of money that you were supposed to hold, you could bury it. Once you buried it, it was no longer your responsibility. If someone else dug it up and found it, this was a legal thing back then. It was no longer your responsibility, okay? So then the master comes back. And the first and the second servant told the master, woohoo, we doubled your money. You know what he said? The master said, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share in your master's happiness. Remember, that wasn't your money. Somebody else gave you that money. So what you did was you invested that money for them and you made that person richer. But what did that person say to you? That person said, now I'm going to give you more. Right? Now you're going to be able to do more because of that, because now I know what you can do, right? So then he comes to the third guy, and the third guy says, my Lord, I knew you were a hard man. You harvest where you have not sown, you gather where you have not scattered, and being afraid, I went and I hid your gold in the ground. See, you have what is yours, that 1 bag of gold. The master's response, it was swift and it was harsh. You know what he said? He said, you wicked and lazy servant. You were aware that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered. You ought for that reason to have at least invested my money with a banker. Then on my return, I should have received that with my own interest. The master ordered that the gold be taken away from the lazy servant and given to the guy who had 10 bags of gold. And he said, for whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. Then he said, throw the servant outside in the darkness, where they'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. A lot of people can look at this story and they come up with different things when they hear this story because it means a lot of things. I found that whenever you read the Bible, there's multiple meanings for scriptures, and it's really dependent upon where you're at in your life right now, because God's always talking to you and he's always giving you advice. So when I think about this, I think about maybe something a little bit different than what most people think. I think about how I could take this bag of gold that I just got. For me, most recently, my bags of gold have been my bonuses. Because when I go file my taxes, even now that I'm not working, hopefully this year I won't owe, But even last year when I wasn't working, because I had still had part of income for a year, I still owed taxes. Plus I took money out of my 401k. And when you do that, you have to pay a penalty and you have to pay tax on it. So you have this bag of gold that you get once a year. And this bag of gold, based on this parable, tells me it can change my future. This bag of gold can determine whether or not I will stay in poverty or whether or not I will get out. because my income tripled. And when you looked at it, I just barely got out of poverty in the scenario we just looked at. So you can go to school. You can make more money, but that doesn't mean your life is going to change. The other factor we didn't talk about that's very important is that, especially with racial minorities, whenever you make more money, you feel obligated to give back to those in your family. So instead of taking your money to build wealth, you're helping everyone else in your family survive. That's what you're supposed to do. But it doesn't help you, right? But that is what you're supposed to do. So that's something else that weighs on you. So I can take this bag of gold and I can pay off debt. I can put money into a savings account that makes no interest, right? When that master said, put money in a bank so that I can get my interest, when you put your money into a bank now, you don't, my son said, Mom, came in my room one night, Mom, when's my money gonna start making interest? Because he got a job and he puts his money in the bank and he doesn't spend it and it goes in a savings account. Mom, when is my money gonna start making money? It's in the bank, it's in the savings. I went to school, I took the financial class. It said if I put my money in savings, it's gonna grow. It doesn't. There is no real interest in $2,000. Put $20,000 in there, maybe you'll make a couple hundred, right? So it's different now than it was then. So I can do that. I can contribute to a retirement plan so that I can build wealth tax-free. But if I'm in one of those first two scenarios, I don't even pay tax. So why would I take my tax refund and put that money into a retirement plan that grows tax-free? It's already tax-free. You already gave it to me. That doesn't make sense. Then when I take it out, like I did, you're gonna charge me a 10% penalty. And you're gonna charge me tax because I didn't wait till I was 59 and a half to take it out. How does that make sense? So the other thing I can do is, I can maybe go put my money in the stock market because maybe you can make money. I mean, 55 years ago, if you invested in H&R Block, you made money. 55 years ago, if you invested in Walmart, you made money. 20 years ago, if you invested in Google, you made money. But you know how many other people invested in different things that didn't make money? So I could try that. Maybe I'll put my money into a college fund for my kids. That'll be smart, right? Then my kids can get out. Even if I can't get out, maybe my kids can. That's what we really want to do, right? We don't want to just build wealth for us to survive. We don't want to just have a retirement plan that gets us through the end of our life. We want to have wealth that we can leave to our kids. It's called generational wealth. Very few racial minorities have it, and very few low-income people who started out low income have any wealth that they can leave to their kids, especially nowadays. And then when they do leave it to their kids waste it. Or when they leave it to their kids still have to pay it off. So let me go ahead and put some money in a college fund for these kiddos. Now only 57.6% of people who go to college graduate, but maybe that's a good investment for me. So I have 3 kids, maybe at least 2 of them, maybe 1.5 of them will graduate. So how is that a good investment for me? Okay? So I think maybe we should do what the first 2 servants did. They put their money to work, right?